From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Tonight on the MTN 530 News, as Breast Cancer Awareness Month comes to an end, we hear from two local women on the importance of early detection and how it helps save their lives. Plus, the clock is ticking on Montana to set new marijuana rules. We'll have an update on where things stand as that target date draws near. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, Hardin Public Schools called off today while Lodgegrass schools moved to a closed campus. This after potentially serious threats targeted students and staff. MTN's Brandon Warren was in Hardin this afternoon to bring us the latest.
All classes within Hardin School District were canceled due to a potential threat made over social media.
It's sad that we have to worry about stuff like that. It's scary, especially for the children.
Marie Austin isn't normally at the park on Monday afternoons, but because of the closure of all schools in Hardin, on this Monday, she was busy watching her nieces and nephews for her sister.
It makes it even harder for the parents too, because parents work jobs and everything, and there was already a 4-day weekend, so adding on another day, which the kids are probably happy about, but as the parents, it's harder for them.
The school district says the threat originated on social media. They won't discuss specifics or the credibility of the threat, but the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office is investigating.
We felt we were putting our students and our staff in the best possible situation by not having school today, taking this moment, taking these 24 hours to let law enforcement do what they do, let us rethink a little bit about how we might come back in after a situation like this.
Staff still came to work on Monday, but schools were locked down and police were stationed at each building. Little Bighorn College and Crow Agency also shut down for the day, as many of its students and staff have children who attend Hardin schools.
Something like this would always be reported to local law enforcement.
As for Marie Austin, the day was certainly a little strange.
The world is getting very crazy right now, and it sucks that we have to worry about that type of stuff when we're just going to school to try to learn.
Late Monday, the district did let parents know that class is expected to resume Tuesday morning as usual. In Hardin, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
The first day of adult-use marijuana sales in Montana will be January 1st. Montana Department of Revenue leaders say they're confident they'll be ready for that important date, but there's a lot of work to do over the next 2 months.
The deadlines are aggressive, and really it's the rules that are our biggest challenge.
Last week, the department released their first extensive package of proposed rules for recreational marijuana businesses. Some of the most notable include laying out procedures and fees for getting a license to grow, sell, or transport marijuana products, establishing what warnings must be included on marijuana labels, and ensuring packaging doesn't appeal to children. Another set of rules covering things like inspections and enforcement could come out as soon as this week.
Our focus was really to be business friendly and to try to work with the industry in a fashion that makes the rules that is adaptable to their current business structure and that they'll be able to evolve into without a whole lot of pain.
Barbie Turner manages Alternative Relief, which has locations in Libby, Polson, and Missoula. She says not having the rules in place has made it challenging to plan for January.
That's difficult. We haven't been able to prepare.
Turner says she expected the first day of legal sales to be delayed. She says the biggest questions she has have been about labeling and permitted serving sizes.
If we knew how to maneuver, we could start prepping and making a product and, just sit here and wait for the labels. But because we don't know what those products look like or what is acceptable, we can't even make a product until these rules come back.
Despite the challenges, she says she's still optimistic they can be ready.
It looks like an impossible feat, but because of our experience and because of what we've endured thus far, I know that we'll make it happen.
There will be a public hearing on the first set of rules on November 16th, and the department expects the second set to have a hearing around the end of the month. That means it's likely the rules will go into effect very close to the end of this year. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
And we now bring in meteorologist Matthew Hidalgo stepping in for Ed tonight. So, Matt, the rain's on the way, but when?
So the best chance for us to see some rain will be later this evening through tomorrow. So if you want to get outside and enjoy some nice fall weather today, it's partly sunny, mild, but then again, that chance of rain through this evening, and then that will move out by tomorrow afternoon for a cooler day tomorrow with temperatures in the 50s. Let me break down those precipitation chances for you. So we do have a shot later tonight, but our best chance will be through the early morning hours tomorrow. And then by the afternoon, we will see that system move out of the area. We'll have the full forecast details for you in just a little bit.
Well, the impact of COVID-19 came down hard over the weekend. Yellowstone County's death toll now sits at exactly 400 after 6 more COVID-related deaths. Montana saw 12 more deaths overall, and nearly 2,300 Montanans have now died since the pandemic began. The state reports more than 1,400 new cases. Yellowstone County with the most at 277. Nearly 450 Montanans remain in hospitals tonight, with 139 of those right here in Billings. Also this evening, COVID-19 hospitalizations in the Cowboy State hit an all-time high. The Wyoming News Exchange reports local hospitals last Thursday in one day treated 249 patients, the most at one time during the pandemic. Now, the surge is blamed on unvaccinated residents who make up 98% of all new cases recorded since May 1st. Active cases are roughly 2,500 and are falling from a month ago. However, hospitalizations and deaths are trending upward. As October comes to a close, so does Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now the goal, encourage women to do monthly self-exams, schedule their annual mammograms, and listen to their bodies. Well, data from website cancer.gov shows the older women get, the more likely they are to be diagnosed with breast cancer. Now this ranges from 1 in every 204 women in their 30s up to 1 in every 65 for women in their 40s. And women in their 70s have a 1 in 24 chance of being diagnosed. Well, Q2's Victoria Hill met 2 women undergoing treatment who are part of that 1 in 65 group. And they're living proof that early detection is key.
I don't think anybody really imagines they'll ever get cancer. I think that's a hard thing, is it's something that happens to other people until it happens to you.
When you think of getting a cancer diagnosis, that's something that happens to other people.
2 women, complete strangers, both in their 40s, giving the upper hand to breast cancer thanks to early detection.
I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have any reason to be suspicious. My primary care physician, Dr. Malady, recommended I do screening once I turned 40. That's how I found out.
That diagnosis was just last year for 41-year-old Becky Owens, a wife and mother of 2 boys.
Were it not for going in for early screening recommended by Dr. Malady, I would not have a clue yet.
When I went in for mine, it was a shock because I didn't have any symptoms and I couldn't feel a lump, and I don't think I would have been able to feel a lump for a long time.
That shock came to Kim Lefevre when she was 43. A year later, the wife and mother of 5 has been going in for her mammogram every year since she was 40.
The fact that I went in when I did, it changed everything for me. My treatment was easier because I went in.
Kim was able to skip chemotherapy, but did opt to have a double mastectomy, something she always told herself she would do if she was ever diagnosed with breast cancer.
I have 5 kids, and when you have 5 kids, you don't play around. I didn't want to mess with it. I wanted the cancer out immediately.
Going in without any symptoms is a lifesaver. According to the Society of Breast Imaging, annual screening starting at the age of 40 saves approximately 6,500 more women's lives each year in the U.S. than screening every other year starting at 50.
In the last 10 days here at the center, we've diagnosed 10 people with breast cancer. 3 of them are under 45 years old. And I think to myself, what would happen if they didn't start their mammogram at 40, if those ladies wouldn't have came in? the diagnosis would be completely different.
Ella Dugan-Limley is the breast health navigator and psychotherapist for breast cancer patients at St. Vincent Healthcare. In the field for more than 30 years, she's witnessed to the ways breast cancer impacts every life, but especially women in their 40s.
It plays a huge role. And then still trying to be a mom full-time and work. It's exhausting. They are so tired and scared to death. It is very, very difficult for them and their family and the children. Seeing their mama sick and losing her hair with chemotherapy, that's frightening.
And unfortunately, it's only becoming more common. The incidence of women diagnosed in their 40s increases about 0.5% every year.
We don't really know why, but we know some risk factors for breast cancer. Certain things like obesity, alcohol, smoking, family history, genetics, those kind of things we do know. But there's a lot that we still don't know. Is there something environmental? Those are things that researchers are still trying to figure out.
Since I've been diagnosed,
Becky was diagnosed with 3 cancers. She had a mastectomy after discovering the first 2.
if we hadn't done the mammogram and been tipped off by the other 2 cancers, the third type usually isn't found until it has metastasized throughout the body. It's pretty aggressive and doesn't usually show up as a lump or, an early indicator. So the screening was essential to catching it.
She finished her latest round of chemotherapy 3 months ago. She's still going through infusions and will be on hormone medication for another 5 to 10 years. Sounds like a lot, but this entire journey has instilled some newfound wisdom.
Cancer treatment changes everything long term. And so learning to adapt and let go of what I thought life would be and be okay with whatever it is.
In Billings, Victoria Hill, MTN News.
Still to come on your 5:30 early news, the Montana State University pop-up gyms are the target of another vandalism attempt, while construction moves along on the nearly $80 million Student Wellness Center. We'll have the latest from campus.